From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanest Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they try to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage to reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. Welcome everybody to Under the Groove Podcast. Happy and prosperous Tuesday to each and every one of you. Here I am, and there you are. Let's get it in, man. Let's do what we do. All right. This is Tuesday's Traditions and Trials. All right. This is every day, though. You know, every day we should have some type of tradition and or trial that we can sit up and talk about and what we can relate to. You know what I mean? Put it up there, put it out there for us to discuss. Okay, what do we get from all this? You know what I mean? And how have we taken all these traditions and these trials, these challenges that test us, how we use them, how we put them to work for us rather than allow them, those tests, those trials, you know, to work against us. Hey, man, that's the discussion. You know, got something for us today, for sure. Got something for us today, man. I went, you know, I don't know, man. Every day when Monday start, man, I'm on it. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Last Friday I took off, man, with the wife, man. You know, I have to try to, you know, well, I don't have to try. I must, you know, just, you know, be with her, be in her presence, you know, and give her, you know, just me in the day. You know, we whatever we do, you know, we're there together doing it. So that's a beautiful look for me as far as I'm concerned. But Monday through Friday, this is what we do, y'all. We touch bases with the people. All right. For those of you don't know, this is that, touching bases with the people. Come on in here, man. Let's focus on the focus. All right. Enough said. Yeah. Oh, man. A lot going on, right? A lot going on. And I have to admit that because of that, I'm starting, well, not starting to, but I'm rethinking, I'm reevaluating a lot of what's happening in terms of, okay, by whatever's transpiring in our communities, you know, that regards us, concerns Black people here in America, as a result of everything that's happening, I'm reevaluating, I'm rethinking my position on things, you know, and issues, you know, and I appreciate it because, again, this is that process, man, that we all go through, man, this thing called growth, you know, maturity, you know, evolution, evolving, you know what I mean? I'm still not an advocate of voting, you know, but for the fact that a lot of our people are, I don't want to go against them. So I'm saying, man, get an understanding. I need to establish an understanding in terms of how they see things and how they go about, you know, relating to the vote as being something that pertains to that, means something that in their minds work for them. I have to get that understanding. I'm working on that. Then there are politicians, there are organizations, and committees, that are about Black people, built and, conceptualized because of Black people. A lot of them I don't agree with, and yet and still I realize that, man, we have an obligation, man, to support our people, man. Even if we don't agree with a lot of shit, if it's for the betterment of the people, then we have to put whatever our ideologies are to the side, man, because especially if it serves the greater good of the people. And if most of the people think that it does, then okay, rather than bash it and go against it, you can, hey, okay, get an understanding of it. You don't necessarily have to be a part of it, but show some type of support for the people, man. We are in one of those moments. We are in a moment in time, in place in time, where we are about to do something again. Something great is going to come from this whole ordeal that we find ourselves confronted with in 2026, right? 2026. And here we are, yet still again, dealing with the same issues 100, years ago, 150 years ago. I think, though, I'm of the mind, most of you guys know I'm of the mind that everything happens for a reason. What that is incumbent on each and every one of us to figure that out. That way we know how to address it, how to support it or not. You know what I mean? That's what that process is about. But we're on the precipice of something great again. Our people. That's what I see. That's what I think. And I want to be on the side that supports the people, support us. That's what I'm about, man. Again, a lot of shit I don't agree with, but that's neither here nor there. What are the people saying? What are the people saying? There's this movement that is taking place by the NAACP and the Congressional Black Caucus, right? Both of which I do not think are worth the goddamn, right? That said, let's move on. But they're pushing that now. They're coming to the people again, and they're saying, "Hey, we need the people to stand up." Okay, cool. Yeah, we know how they go. Had you guys been standing up to begin with, through it all, no matter what, you have more support. You have more faith. From the people in you. You know what I mean? A lot of these organizations, man, they look for a political theater. They are out of touch with the community, and a host of other things. However, there's a call going out to the people, man, that regards or concerns this thing about the vote. All right. There's some validity to it, and that's the part I want to focus on. Me, I'm not saying it in terms of an issue or a discussion. We can have it. It doesn't matter. But for me, that's what I'm going to focus on. Okay. How do the people see it? How do they think it serves them is what I need to be concerned with, not the fact that I have my opinion about it. I don't think that's relevant. I think what the people think is relevant. That's what I think. So yeah, the NAACP, man, and the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, they're sending a call out. They're saying, man, okay, unite. It's time to come together. Let's do this, that, and the third. What they're calling the NAACP, they titled it "Out of Bounds." So they are asking the youth in the Black community who are coming up in sports, football, basketball, baseball, or any sport in general, I think, even track and field, whatever, to boycott SEC colleges. All right. Southeast, what is it? The Southeast Conference. All right. 8 states in particular, those deep South states, those GOP states, those racist states, to boycott them. Boycott the colleges, all right? Transfer to another college, HBCU, for instance, or any other college for that matter, but do not lend yourself to these colleges in these racist states that want to take away the right to vote. the right to have representation, in the halls of power, things like that. I kind of agree with that. All right. I kind of agree with that. So I'm in support of that. I'm saying, okay, yeah, man, that would be the right thing to do. Support the people and support them because it's right, but the reality is, man, a lot of them will not. Why? Because there's money attached to this get out, man. You know, there's money attached to this thing. A lot of these children, a lot of these young adults, these black women and men, they have dreams and aspirations. There are certain motivations attached to, their cause, the work they put in, everything they've done to get to where they are, and for the most part, a lot of that evolves around or involves the bag. Let's be realistic. So the bag is in question when it comes to these young cats and these young sisters. Are they willing to say or disregard the bag or the opportunity at a bag because we have a political agenda to address? Chances are most of them may not, go along with this get out, may not support what is being put before, the people, what I'm saying, in terms of, boycotting and, being on one accord. The parents may not agree, a lot of them probably come from poverty, or impoverished communities, what I mean? And this is an out for them. I can talk about that in terms of, yeah, you might get some, but you're still a ninja, you know, you know, you're still what they refer to us as, second, third class, people. You know what I'm saying? So you might get that, but you never beat one of them. And if that matters to you, then that matters to you. But here it is. The reality is, will this fly? Will this thing become something that the people can rally around and bring changes to this political system? Now, I also have an opinion about that. I'm not in support of being a part of the political system. I think that being a part of it, participating in it, is to our detriment. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? That's me speaking. But for any of us who will look at this thing clearly and rationally, we'll see that. I don't care how, what their age is. As they grow, as they go through society, they've experienced some things. A lot of these SEC colleges, man, for example, they are racist from the coach down. There are receipts on that shit. You know what I mean? And these guys know it. So it's like, okay, you rather, be disrespected. You rather lose your dignity. You rather not stand on principle for the bag. That's a call they have to make, But I'm saying, man, this is something I think the people should rally around. We have to start providing support, giving our support to the causes that, from the ground level, man. And again, I don't have a lot of trust and faith in politicians and shit, but us, the people, we know what it is. We have to support one another, If not, this shit will continue. This shit will continue, especially if we aren't willing to separate ourselves from it. All right. So, yeah, man, I don't know if these brothers and sisters will back away from SEC, universities and colleges, the sports, the athletic programs or not. Again, there's a lot at play here. There's a lot at stake. There are sacrifices that have been made, and sacrifices will have to be made if they choose to do this, But in any event, we need to let the people, we all need to show support for this cause, speak up and speak out about it. Get our brothers and sisters to understand what the real purpose is about. It's about our dignity, our respect, it's about not being treated, not like a second class citizen, third class citizen, but as a human being, first and foremost. That's the whole thing, I think it would do, the population, the black community as a whole, a lot of good to support causes like this. I think we're at that moment again. We're on the precipice of something great if we are to unite and support, what needs to be supported. This is one of them causes. The call is going out from individuals again that I don't necessarily respect. I think are hustlers, con men and women. You know what I mean? They, it's all a grift, but still, we can take from that and unify. Use our power, man, to bring changes, and then as we do that, decide on who will have speak for us or not. There's so many opportunities in this moment that we have to be mindful of and take advantage of, and if not, hey, we lose an opportunity to make or take a stance that is concrete, that is about something, That's my take on it, man. I'm not going to hold you guys up with that, but look into it, man. It is called Out of Bounds, all right? And the NAACP, again, anyway, they're pushing this, I don't know whether or not it's getting any traction, but I do know on social media, there are a lot of brothers who are against it, and they're against it, I think, for the wrong reasons. They're against it. Oh man, no, they fucking with the bag, man. No, man, get the bag. Damn all that. No, bro. I'm no. I'm not supporting that. I mean, if you're gonna make an excuse or you want to put something before the people in terms of not supporting this, man, bring something to the table other than or rather than the bag being the reason. The bag is part of the problem in the community. We don't see that part either, but that's fine. That's fine. So, let me know what y'all think about that, man. Let me know whether or not y'all even know about this. And again, we have the Congressional Black Caucus, they throw their hats into the ring, and again, these are people, in spite of the fact that these are people that a lot of us do not trust, they're out of touch with us, right? They are into political theater. They want to be in the camera saying all the right things, but doing nothing. You know what I mean? There's so many, again, issues that we can address regarding these people, but that's neither here nor there. The issue is, what are we going to do as a people? Are we going to support this cause or not? I was just saying the other night, yeah, man, they want us to get up and start marching, da 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 da. I said something today on the other channel. I said, wait a minute, they're pushing all this. So if they're pushing it like that, then the NAACP, all this top execs, directors on down, they need to start marching their damn selves first through the streets of up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, down south, anywhere else. They need to get this message across. Do it. Be the example. Same goes for the CBC. Get off your asses, man. Get your picket signs, man, and get out there. Show the people you about the business. Otherwise, man, again, a lot of people are not going to trust you or want to deal with you because you're not doing this thing the right way. You're out of touch. Good way to become in touch, good way, to touch bases with the people is do yourselves what you're asking the people to do. I think that would be a prime example. You get a lot of following in, you get support. But that being said, I have a clip, man, and the clip I think is powerful. I try to go in, man, and I find something, man, that's going to wake up the people, going to show the people that, yeah, we're in a fight. We are in a fight, man. And this fight, man, that we're in, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. In that a lot of what we're going to be battling against, we're going to battle for, but we'll be battling against our own people, man. First and foremost. That's, I don't know another way to put that than how I just did that. All right. But yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. This thing is called Out of Bounds, man. Should this thing go? Should we support it or not? Should we even recognize that the NAACP and the Congressional Black Caucus are pushing this thing? Not only that, but a lot of gatekeepers are involved also. And I apologize for using those terms or those phraseologies, but that's what it is. We have a lot of boule involved. You have now certain entertainers coming out and say, yeah, they support this, but again, man, where have y'all been? All right, yeah. Let me move on. This is Under Groove Podcast, like I say, and we are touching bases with the people. Let's get it in, man. Let's focus on the focus. I see you up in here, Antonio. Right back to you, homie. Peace and prosperity, you and yours, bro. Good to see you. B60, man, always front and center, man. Always. He said greetings and salutations to you, Bub, and the RGC B1 Black first. Let's put black first, y'all, before our issues, our disagreements, and anything else. You know, we can work through all that other stuff, but let's support the causes that brings justice to the people. You know, that brings justice to the people. Again, though, like I say, I'm with it. A lot of shit I don't support, but I'm willing to put that on the back burner for the sake of the people. All right. Let's hope that is the way it is. All right. West LA Coco is in the house, man. He said, checking in, cousin. Keep telling the people what they need to hear. And God willing, day by day, more people will take heed. Real spit, bro. Real spit. That's the purpose. You know, that's the purpose. That's the idea. You know, I'm here for that purpose, you know, see if we can get the people to come together. You know, I got something I want to do. As a matter of fact, Coco, this social media thing is killing us. It's taking us deeper, man, into the BS, man. Our brothers ain't seeing it. It's some of the foulest stuff I've seen, man. I'm hearing our brothers, man, day in and day out, they at each other's necks. But over what? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I see loved ones getting involved now. And that's crazy because, you know, it's so much more we could be doing, you know, rather than be at each other's neck over some stuff, man, that's neither here nor there, you know. We you know, it is what it is when it comes to these issues they bring up, you know, but it shouldn't be to the point where that's the conversation that's being dispensed to the people. Dissension, hate, you know, calling each other enemies, and you know, want to do, want to get scores and shit, you know, want to make buckets, baskets, touchdowns, you know. This shit ain't cool, man. That's an issue though that needs to be addressed, man. And trust and know, man, I'm on that. I might ruffle some feathers, man, in the coming days, but so be it. So be it. Someone needs to start speaking up. And rather than I sitting up waiting for somebody to see if somebody's gonna come out of the woodwork and say, hey man, what are we doing? This is backwards. Going to get done what needs to be done. And you know, the thought is, as a result of that, maybe brothers and sisters will get it and say, okay, yeah, you know, they ain't got to join me. You don't have to follow me. But hey, man, get on the path of righteousness, man, with each other. That's the whole issue. That's the concern. Frederick Hasby, what it do, loved one? I see you up in here. All right. As always, man, 4 of them right back to you, man. Raymond Scold, 102, man. All right. That's the rack, man. What it do, loved one? I send mine, man, to you and your fam, man. Peace and prosperity, man, to you and your family, man, as well as your extended family, man, to the Rays. All love and respect, bro. Good to see you up in here. You say, what it do, bub? Peace and blessings to you as well as your family. Greetings to the brothers and sisters in the Royal Group congregation. B1 does equal black first. Appreciate you here, man. You're going to say, have you been seeing this sister named Dr. Matthews and brother Cornell? Yeah, I said that right. Cornell X. They are part of the new BPP. They are pushing for justice. Yeah, I watched them today, man. They was on some Caucasian's neck who's a lawyer of all things, and he's very racist, you know. So yeah, I checked it out, man, and I like the work they do. And I have to say, man, we have to recognize, pay attention to the fact that something is happening. Something is occurring, man, with the people, man, us. It's taking place. It's happening in our face, man. But see, I'm thinking that it's harder for a lot of us to get it because there's so much else coming at us, blinding us. You know what I mean? You do this all day, you get, you know, hey, man, you know, it's going down, man. It's going down. Something is happening, and I call it, you know, the awakening. We're waking up now, man. You know, we're waking up slowly but surely. let's say this time, well, let's say by the end of the year, man, and there are going to be some changes that are very noticeable in the community. And I mean the Black community, changes that will, that's going to bring something totally different to the table. We speak about this all the time. We talk about our ancestors, those who came before us and what they accomplished. And then we talk about this generation, the last couple of generations of our people. What have we contributed? What have we brought to the table that benefits the people? A week or so ago, I was saying nothing. Truth to power, nothing. However, it seems that something is on the horizon for us to get a hold of, carry this thing, man, to the finish line. It's time for us to do something, and the opportunity actually is presenting itself for us to step up to the plate and bring something constructive, productive, positive to the people, man. I think that is happening. And hey, by the end of the year, let's, make everything be everything, Let us be prepared, because it ain't gonna be easy. First and foremost, let's get that in our heads. This shit that's coming down the pipes at us ain't gonna be nothing nice. Ain't gonna be nothing nice. And it's gonna be a lot of heartache, man. There's gonna be a lot of sadness, man, and anger, because we're gonna be at it with our own people, from the street level up to the top, from the bottom to the top, and everything in between. For those of us who are thinking about the people, man, elevating, the people being empowered, people being respected, understanding what dignity is and respect. We're going to have to fight to get that. And we're going to have to fight a lot of our own people just to get it, man. And that's the sad part. But hey, man, here we are, right? Here we are, man. I had an invitation. I got an invitation today. I'm telling you, man, it's funny how shit is working. Again, me, man, the spiritual side of it. I'm not religious in any sense of the word. And some would contest that, say, well, Bub, if you're spiritual, you're religious. No, man, I don't think they're the same thing. Anyway, I got something from somebody today, an invite. Well, actually, they would say, hey, man, you should attend this get down. Karen Bass is having an open forum this Saturday. So, I'm contemplating it. I know if I go there, I'm not going to be the type of individual that's going to just sit back and listen to what I consider the same old shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to want to have something to say. And the thing is, okay, I don't want to go there to ruffle. I don't want to go there to create dissension. You know what I mean? If I attend, I want to go there, man, and bring something provocative to the people, some thought provoking to the people and politicians. You know what I mean? There's a lot, man, not being said in terms of, what hasn't been done in our community. But we get these people, they present themselves as though they're champions of the people. But the people aren't seeing that. We're not, we don't have any heroes like that. Our communities, man, in the last 3, 4, 5 decades have not changed. In fact, some of us don't even have communities anymore. Who's to blame? Who's to blame for this? Is it the politician? Is it the people in the community? Is it us? But me going to something like that, a symposium or, that type of get out, I know I'm not going just for the sake of sitting there and being seen, and it gives me a certain anxiety, you know what I mean? Because again, I don't want to go there and start no mess. I do think that if any brother or sister goes there, any of our kings or queens, gods and goddesses go there, we need to go there for a purpose. We need to go there and speak truth to power to these people, who are there, who are out of touch, who tend to want to do everything and anything for everybody else but the people. So I don't know. I'm contemplating whether or not I go. I'm contemplating that. But anyway, there you go. Anyway, appreciate you, man. Wait a minute, Raymond Scott going to say, man, those organizations like the NAACP and others are Euro indoctrinated. I don't feel as if any of those groups have our collective interests. And that may be true. You know, when you talk about the NAACP, I don't know if a lot of us know the history, the inception, the creation of the NAACP. You know, it wasn't an organization created by black folk. Now, somebody may want to contest that, or by all means, please do. But what I do know is that um, the construction of the coming together of the building of it started with some out of the Jewish community, you know, and that may go double. I'm not absolutely sure, so I won't say that. But as far as the NAACP goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure that people in the Jewish community created that organization. All right. And as far as I'm concerned, they haven't represented the people as well as they could have up to this point. You know, they're more like a corporate entity now. You know what I mean? They deal with corporate shit now. You know, they're no longer street level. You know, you don't see them like that. You know what I mean? Again, more political theater. They get in front of cameras and give grand speeches, and they're out of touch. All right. So yeah, I'm familiar. You know, those organizations like that aren't about the business. They aren't representing the people like they should. All right. Like they should. So I agree with you there, Raymond Skull. Rakufu said, man, peace and blessings to the RGC. Right back to you, Rakufu. You say word for the day is invariability. Invariability. All right. I thought we had that word already, bro. If I remember correctly, I think we had that already. But if not, that's fine. That's fine. You know, must be a reason for you to, you know, put it out there again. And if not, hey, man, by all means, let's drop it and get to it. I ain't got no problem with it. You're going to say, man, the long-term success of any civilization depends on the invariability of its principles and institutions. All right. There it is. There it is. And while we on this subject, like I said, I support the people, man. A lot of shit that the people do, I don't like, I don't advocate, but hey, you know, these politics, they aren't for us, you know, and for whatever reason, our people haven't figured that out yet. You know, our people have not figured that out. You know, for over 160 something, man, look, 1865 to now, we haven't figured out that this system is not designed to incorporate us, to see that we have equity, see that we have equality, respect, you know, and yet we're still a part of it. You know, we still want to assimilate. And I think, again, to our detriment, we do this stuff, man. There's no stronger mind, no more creative mind on the face of the planet than the black mind, you know, the black brain. And it trips me out that we haven't, at this point in time, 2026, figured out that this stuff is not for us and created for ourselves a system, a structure that would do us justice. You know what I mean? That would empower us, you know, that would show us the way, or have a foundation built, you know, to where we could stand on and, you know, reach for excellence, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to me, but that's what it is. All right. Crazy as hell. Anyway. All right. Raymond Scott said, man, of our loved ones fought above the BS. They could establish a big production company and take social media to another level, like the Detroit brothers did with Tubi. again, see, this is the thing. I think uh, we're caught up, man. We're caught in a system, man, that does not, in my opinion, allow us to exercise independence. You know, think about that. We're in a system that you go with what the system has already put before you. Don't go outside of that. You cannot. The system is not put there for us to go outside of it. You know what I mean? So everything we do, it has to be within the confines of what's already established. To go outside of that, they're gonna bring you grief, and this is what a lot of our people, I think about. They don't want the problem, so they just go along with the status quo. You know, brothers and sisters a long time ago could have already started record, companies, conglomerates, corporations, movie, our own political system, all that, man, all that, it's crazy, man. But hey, Tubi should just be one of many. We should have a myriad of establishments like that, or corporations or businesses, productions like that. Man, because there's so many of us, man. It would take, 300 of them, so that we could all get a little bit of what we want. You know what I mean? And yet we don't have that. What does that say? I think then that means then that the system is designed in such a way to keep us from elevating. It's designed to keep us in our place, to not excel, especially if it is excelling outside of their parameters. That's the thing, man. We're not seeing this shit. That's the problem. Raymond Scott say, Rakufa, that was a great word, man. All right, Fat Rat Playboy, I see you up in here, man. Peace and prosperity to you, bro. To your family as well. You say peace to you and the RGC, Big Bug. Right back to you, Fat Rat. It's always a pleasure to have you amongst us, man. Yeah, real spit. Raymond Scott said, man, I think you should attend that forum. They need to hear our points of view and solutions. You'd be a great voice to advocate for us all. I don't know. Again, man, I'm just stuck on, for one, here's the thing. For one, it's not something I've done before. You know what I mean? I've gotten up in a couple of settings or events, and I've said a few words, man. I always walked away like, yeah, man, I didn't let it go, or I didn't say what I, what I mean. So I always, reprimanded myself about that. But this is different because I'm quite sure they're gonna be more than us there. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to say, well, I'm in fear, because that's gonna be the fact. No. It's more about me speaking. When I speak, it will be about truth to power, but me speaking in a way that's not. I don't want to insult our people in front of nobody. You feel me? That's the thing, man. That's the thing. There's certain principles I function on, I function by, that ain't gonna allow me to do that, man. I hold my tongue. And if that's the case, then what needs to really be said to our people, amongst our people, won't be said, because we have interlopers, or we have people that, they shouldn't hear our truth. Again, this is part of our problem, man. We divulge too much to other people, and they'll take it and they'll wield weapons against us as a result. That's my thought process, bro. But in any event, man, I was talking to wife about an hour or so ago, and more than likely I will be there. I will be there, I will be there, man. Big H from Harlem's gonna be there. Tim Carter, hey, this good brother, so I'm gonna tap in with him first, to make sure that I have access to get down, because there's a process you got to go through, to be okayed into the situation. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give him a call tonight and make sure that I'm secured in getting into, the get down the event. But yeah, man, I'm just more along the lines of thinking, hey, man, it's not what we say, is how we say it. As they say, it's not what we do but how we do it. That's what my mind is, you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm struggling with right now. That's it. I'd love to have some of you brothers, man, up in there. Not to pass the buck or nothing, but it would be good to have as many of us there as possible, man. And I've heard the ideas and the ideologies, the mindsets of a lot of you brothers in here. And I tell you what, man, if I don't say it enough, then I apologize for that. But I know there are a lot, not just intelligent brothers in this get down, man. There's some wise brothers in this get down, man, and sisters. We were just talking about, hey, man, enough for the talk. Now, what are we going to do? I'm telling you, I think everything happens for a reason. So that was dropped on me for a reason, I'll be one of the first to say I'm with it, So yeah, I'm gonna have to be there. It'd be good, man, to see more of us there, though. Participating in the direction of our people's, not just their existence, but their evolution, their growth, shit like that, their empowerment, So yeah. Appreciate that though, Raymond Cole. Appreciate that. Rakufu said, man, NAACP was by Jews or Jewish people. Yeah, I know that. I read that so long ago, man. I think I was in Soledad when I first read that. And even back then, I wasn't. I tell you guys all the time, my mom was a Panther and she used to say shit about certain organizations and people. And we always used to wonder, Mama, why are you saying that? Because they wasn't shit, A real black mother, man, I promise you, they wasn't shit, they ain't shit, and it's always stuck with me, even when I got of age or at a certain age where I was able to go and research and read about it and find out as much as I could on my own. I came to realize that what my mom was saying was valid, and so it's stuck with me. Rakufu said, man, the most prominent Jewish co-founders was Henry Moskowitz. Okay, got you. The name sounds familiar. I'm not absolutely sure, but yeah. Raymond Scott said, man, our life's experience is unique to most people. We see the political institutions for what they are, and we're woke. We need woke people advocating for us. I don't disagree with that at all. I agree wholeheartedly with that, bro. Real spit, man. That should be the case. And again, I say, yeah, man, yeah, we need to all advocate, man, in whatever capacity that we can. Here was a situation that was presented to me today. And I tell you immediately, I said, damn, man, shit happened for a reason, and I just knew that it was meant for me to get that and know as a result of getting it, damn, I got to be there. I got to be there. So there that is, man. Rakufu said, man, from the holds of ship to the halls of law, our ancestors carried a blueprint no chain could erase or hold back. Right? I added that, or hold back. Yeah, real spit, bro. Jody Jebs said, hello, Groove, new to your channel. Who is that in the picture behind you? Okay, so hey, appreciate you being here. You're more than welcome to be here, Jody. This is, as you know, Under the Groove podcast. We're touching bases with the people. This is something we do every Monday to Friday. We like to have you a part of this get down, man. One thing we ask for each and every individual that come here is to always be respectful to the brothers and sisters, kings and queens, gods and goddesses, even if we don't agree with what is being said. We can agree to disagree, but we do it respectfully. All right. So you're more than welcome to be here. That picture behind me is of my youngest brother. Our youngest brother. There was 6 of us in our family, 6 boys, no sisters. He was the youngest one. He was the last son our mother gave birth to. He passed away, in 2004. So, I love the guy. I still love him to this day. I raised him, actually. It's crazy when I tell the story how they came to be. I'm in elementary school. I'm going to Woodcrest Elementary in Los Angeles. But I have to leave school early, because mom goes to work. She had it down to a science. He would wake up 12 noon. I had to be home by 12 noon to feed him, change him, things of that nature, and that's what I did, Did it affect my grade? Yeah, pretty much, I didn't think about it like that, though. I thought that, this is my little brother. I loved him. I would have done that for any of my brothers. But I raised him. I taught him I potty trained him. I taught him how to walk, how to talk, and there was some other things that he learned from me that weren't good. He picked up some bad habits from me, you know. But yeah, that's him. That's Kenny Ray. It's Kenny Ray. Yeah, appreciate you being here, Jody. Appreciate you being here. More than welcome to stay and holler at us, all right? We're touching bases with the people, so have at it. Rakufu said, they tilled a foreign soil, yet in their minds preserved kingdoms, where the right to govern oneself was older than the auction block. You're going to say, man, through American Civil War, Reconstruction era, and the long night of Jim Crow laws and the Black codes. All right, I added that. The dream did not die. It organized. It marched with Harriet Tubman. It reasoned with W.E. Du Bois and thundered from the pulpit of Martin Luther King Jr. We are people who learn that freedom is more than release. It is architecture of schools, banks, ballots, and businesses. It is the disciplined turning of $1 into 10 acts of mutual uplift. All right, the deliberate construction of institutions that answer to our own collective will. The cotton field became a classroom. The spiritual became a constitution of the heart. All right, the struggles became a science of perseverance and invariability of purpose across generations. And still we rise, not asking history for permission, but writing policy for the same hands that once picked chains apart. All right, for creative government of self is the ancient inheritance and future destiny of a people who are never broken, only delayed. Bad dude, man. You're a bad dude, man. You're a bad dude. And I'm going to figure out a way to put that in a get down. The same way we did the touching bases with the people when we were talking about the RGC, those diagrams I showed you guys about a month ago. I'm going to find a way to put that in the get down, man. I think that's power, man. That is powerful words. And we want to get to the point where we realize and accept that words are power. Words are power, man. No matter what they say, man. Words are strength, Words are actions, man. You can't get past that shit. Powerful piece, bro. Powerful piece. Bad dude, Rakufu. I don't know what make you think you're incapable. We need brothers like you. I know I may be a little older than you. At least I think I am. So shit. Yeah, man. Need to have your mindset up in somebody's halls of power. Sitting in the seat, man, doing the work of the people. Shit. And then they pay attention. Raymond Cole said, man, I see people daily speaking about Democrats this or Republicans that. it get me so frustrated, especially hearing people reason for the support they give these politicians. A lot of our people are asleep. And that's true, man. That is true. That is true. You know, we've gotten so caught up. Again, it's more like this, man. And this is just my opinion in terms of politics. I think we're so involved in politics only because we want to be accepted, man. So we assimilate that. We want to show them, hey, man, we understand, hey, we know this stuff too. We want to be a part of it. It's as though we are begging for acceptance, man. And I say, man, that's a flaw. That's a flaw in the community, man, because listen, there's not any part of their program, their system that wants us to be a part of it. You know what I mean? We're pushing to be a part of something that's resisting us. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's just crazy. That's like any of us going anywhere in society and a group of people we like their get out, it's the shit. It seems to be the most prominent get out, and you want to be a part of that, but you're rejected, right? Man, initially, automatically, we'd be like, all right, fuck y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start my own shit. Now I'm gonna show you, I think that's a natural response. But for some reason or another, our natural response to that which we know, man, is detrimental to us have been weakened, it's been diluted. We're not even pushing, man, for our own shit. We're pushing for acceptance into a situation or a system that from the jump didn't give one flying flick about us. Again, the American political system is a detriment to us. And it messes me up to realize we don't see that, man. But hey, that is what it is. All right, man. Look, Jody said, man, just followed you on Instagram again. Appreciate you, Jody. Yeah. Appreciate you. Fat Rat said, man, what's the forum for the invite, bub? Okay, so Karen Bass is some type of symposium, right? Where, hold on, loved one sent me this today. I'll read it to you. Okay, so it's called a meet and greet with Mayor Karen Bass, a conversation with Black men and youth of LA. About this event, it's a conversation with Mayor Karen Bass, hosted by Kevin Orange, Tim Carnegie, Jonathan Melendez, Mandela, Kaisi Ben Owens, and Corey Matthews. Join us for a direct, candid conversation with Mayor Karen Bass. This gathering brings together Black men from across Los Angeles for an honest dialogue, all right? A chance to share what's on your mind, ask hard questions, and hear directly from the mayor about her vision for the city's future. Mayor Bass believes that strong leadership requires listening. This is a real conversation, and your voice matters. All right, space is limited. Come ready to engage. So that's what it's about, man. This situation is going to be held where the Holman United Methodist Church, 3320 West Adams Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90018. All right. Holman United Methodist Church, 3320 West Adams Boulevard in Los Angeles. All right. So, yeah, it's supposedly a meet and greet with Karen Bass, a conversation with Black men and youth of LA. Now, again, I already suspect that this is not going to be something that's privy to the Black man and or woman. Already they've just black men and youth of LA. That youth of LA could be anybody, So anyway, I'm gonna make it a point to be there. So there that is. That's what that was. Fat Rat. A meet and greet with Karen Bass. You get to ask the hard questions. Yeah, yeah. Rakufa said political leadership may be in your future, bub. Oh man, it's late in the game, man. I would probably I don't know, man. I think that because where a lot of us we're cut from a different cloth than a lot of them. That's not to say a lot of them weren't cut, didn't come from the community. But in terms of experiences and shit, man, and realities, real life stuff, man, there's a difference there, So yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't fit in, you know what I mean? I probably wouldn't fit in. It's been discussed in the household, though. Here at home, we've talked about it, but I don't think it's something I would nah, because I understand there's too much, bull crap. I think I get that part. There's a lot of bull crap involved in politics. And you got to, in order to pay, you got to play. In order to play, you got to pay. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I think a lot of individuals involved in that are compromised. And, I don't want to put myself in that position. That's what that is, Fat Rat said, man, Rob, peace, my brother. Question, peace, my bro. Question, what was the name of Kemetic Nubian or Memphite currency or a similar system of exchange? I vaguely remember something. Oh shit, you piqued my interest in that, man, because I couldn't tell you that for sure. Yeah, let us know that one, Ra. Raymond Scott said, man, listen, we must find a way to become economically independent and create our own political destiny. Like Stokely Carmichael said, equality on our own terms by our own strength. That right said, okay. And I say, okay. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I will use her platform to promote UTG. Okay. Fat Rat said, man, I will use her platform to promote UTG the same way they exercise political expediency. Crazy you say that. My wife said that. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. You lay down with dogs, man, you get fleas. You hang around the devil too long, you become a demon. I don't know. Raymond Scott said, man, now I'm wondering what is the motive for this forum. Thank you. That's what I said. Well, you got to know, June, they vote for mayor. There's a campaign, she's looking for re-election as mayor. I think it's June. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's June that they're having an election for mayor of Los Angeles. All right. Again, man, so much shit went through my head. I'm like, yeah, she's campaigning. And that's what they do. And it's no different from the CBC. Now they're up in arms about all this stuff going on. And again, my take on that was, hey, man, a year ago, 2 years ago, when y'all knew Trump was coming back, why weren't you guys ready? Why weren't you prepared? No one was prepared. And a lot of them are coming up on re-election. They have, the midterms are coming up. A lot of them need to vote. So they're coming out. Here again is that political theater. They're in front of the camera like they're about the business. All the while, when they weren't in front of the camera, when they were in the halls of power, who were they supporting? What were their interests? It was Israel. And that's damn near hands down for all of them. Now, as far as Karen Bass go, I did some research on her, and she has no ties in terms of sponsorship, donations, things of that nature from the AIPC for one. But that doesn't mean there's somebody else in the shadows, because they know they got ways to go and give money to these people, man, without it being exposed. So I don't know, but I did research her, and she had no ties whatsoever. However, she do socialize. She do a lot of work with those organizations, little black hat people, and those organizations, the little black hat people, have done business, and they know very well Judith Shore. And if you guys don't know the name, Google it, or Google her, Judith Vinay Shore, Shore. She's the same individual that says she have a problem with the black youth, or Israel is having a problem with the black youth. And just check it out. But anyway, hey man, I don't know, man. This stuff is crazy, and it's getting crazier by the day. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, man. I appreciate that though. That suggestion, Fat Rat. You said you would use her platform to promote UTG. The same way they exercise political expediency. Yeah, man. It's crazy you say that, man. Thought about it, and then for me, man, one thought always leads to another, man. I'm just trying to, understand. But yeah, appreciate that comment, bro. Remy Skull said, now I'm wondering, okay, I read that. Rakufu said, hey, Bub, man, the test would be to combat all the sellout opportunities they will present you with. But with your no-nonsense attitude, you will be a shining example. And you're talking about in terms of politics, being involved in that. Yeah. Rakufu said, Fat Rat, give me a second, man. Rakufu come up with that answer about the currency, because I'm interested in knowing that too. Fat Rat said, I know you're not coming with the expectation that some politician is going to solve a problem for us. So what next? Fat Rat, you all right. Fat Rat say, I know you're not coming with the expectation that some politician is going to solve a problem for us. So what next? Opportunism. All right, man. Speak. Rakufu said, did the Kushites mint coins? Yes, but mainly during the later Meroitic period. I hope I pronounced that right. Roughly 3rd century BCE onward. Okay. Let my mind catch up with that thought, because I don't know. Okay. Rakufu said, kings and queens of Kush issued some coins influenced by Ptolemaic kingdom and Roman monetary traditions. Ptolemaic kingdom and Roman monetary traditions. Yeah, I don't know, Rakufu. What wasn't there a currency before Ptolemy and all that, and the Roman monetary traditions and system? Were there coins before that, or currency? You say, as far as the old kingdom of Kush, they basically used the barter system. All right. Pharaoh say, Bub, not that I think you need to hear this, but you already been vetted to be a real one. So I would find the most controversial subject to rise in UTG, and upon promoting it, raise those points when they give you the mic. That way, when they fail to meet any real or imagined expectations, you already won. Very dangerous. Ferris say, Bub, not that I think you need to hear this, but you already been vetted to be a real one. So I would find the most controversial subject. Wow. And I have a few, to tell you the truth. The most controversial subject to arise or bring up in UTG, and upon promoting it, raise those points when they give you the mic. That way, when they fail to meet any real or imagined expectations, you already won. I get your point. They had me on the news, man. Rakufu said, man, the most important Egyptian monetary unit was the Debane. The Debane. Debane? Debane? All right. Raymond Scott said the name of Memphite currency was called Debane. Debane. All right. Got you, Raymond Scott. Look at him on his game. On his game. Rakufu said, man, what was a debane? A unit of weight, not originally a coin, used to measure copper, silver, and gold. In the New Kingdom, one debane was roughly 90 to 91 grams. Whoa. All right. The most historically recognized indigenous medium of exchange across many African civilizations was indeed the cowrie shell. Ah, yeah. There it go. And they use these little seashells. They weren't conch shells, but the smaller ones. I think we see them now as worn as jewelry sometimes. I think those are the ones. Necklaces and bracelets. Sometimes earrings. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, fellas. The cowrie shell, yeah. All right, Chris, we see you up in here. Look, man, I want to drop this piece, man. I just find it, I don't know. I look for this type of shit every day, y'all. Let's drop this piece, man. Get a bar of this. It's not long. And let's talk about that. How black communities got set up to fail. Another brother, man. Another brother from the concrete, man. Another Rose, man. We got tricked. They took the resources, then we left. Here you go.
What's crazy? A lot of us think the story of Black America is just about people escaping the hood. But the older I get, the more I realize we got tricked out of building something powerful for ourselves. See, back in the day, my grandfather worked in the steel mill. A lot of black men did. They made good money. They owned their homes. They took care of their families. And even though segregation was real and they weren't allowed in certain places, they still built communities. They built churches, businesses, culture, pride, identity. But then something happened. The stores started disappearing. The movie theaters disappeared. The jobs disappeared. The investment disappeared. And while all of that was happening, the suburbs started growing. Better schools, safer neighborhoods, cleaner streets, more opportunities, more protection, more resources. And what did people do? They left. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why they left. If you got kids and you finally got a chance to breathe, of course you want it better for your family. Nobody wants to struggle forever, but that's where the trick came in. Because instead of us owning and rebuilding our own communities, we were pushed into abandoning them. And once enough people with money, discipline, leadership, and vision left, the communities weakened even more. Think about it. The same people who used to be block captains, business owners, coaches, mentors, church leaders, and homeowners, gone. And when the leadership leaves the community without replacement, chaos fills the vacuum. Then they turned around and blamed the people still stuck there. That's the cold part. They stripped the resources, moved the opportunities, underfunded the schools, let the neighborhoods decline, then told the world the people were the problem. And even today, a lot of us still think making it means escaping black communities instead of rebuilding them. But let me tell you something. You can move into another district. You can move into another neighborhood. You can make good money. But if you don't have ownership, political power, representation, and economic control, you're still dependent on somebody else to decide your future. That's why the moment something goes wrong, they remind you real fast whose community it is.
Yeah.
We got tricked into thinking survival was the same thing as victory. And now we got to ask ourselves a hard question. What would our communities look like if more of us had stayed, invested, built businesses, bought property, mentored the youth, and fought to keep resources here instead of running every time things got hard? Because maybe the goal was never to escape. Maybe the goal should have been ownership. Maybe it should have been rebuilding. Maybe it should have been creating something so strong that the next generation wouldn't feel like they had to run at all. And that's the part nobody wants to talk about.
They didn't fear our struggle. They feared what we could build together, man. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I found that to be very powerful. We know that all too well, man. That's exactly what happened. Right along with, well, it happened after integration. Integration. That's when it went down, y'all. That's when it went down, you know. But that piece I found to be very, 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 very powerful because when we were coming up, man, there were individuals in the community, and all of them didn't gangbang. Real spit, man. All of them didn't gangbang, man. But they were leaders in their own right. You know, they would stomp down individuals in their own right. But then sweeps started occurring, you know. And those sweeps affected the street level individuals, you know, and they were taking them off the streets. You know, these were the same individuals who were lacing us. Again, not just in terms of, you know, gang shit, man. And I think that's part of the misconception when we talk about who was taken from the streets and what it did to us. But there were a lot of individuals, man, who would stomp down brothers who had come from that era of Black power, you know, and they would see us, man, and they would talk to us and they would, you know, lace us. As time went on, man, you know, next month we didn't see him no more. And we, hey, man, what happened to woo the woo woo? Oh, man, the police got him. He in jail, you know. Before we knew it, man, by 1979, you know, 1980, they were all gone. Only a few were left. But by the end of 81, 82, they were gone. There was a void, you know. There was no more structure. No more leadership, you know, no more individuals, or there were those individuals who would lace us, embrace us correctly, were gone, man. You know, by that time, 82, also the churches had begun to change. Like I said, man, I grew up in the church, you know, our whole family did actually. And there were things that used to take place in the 70s that we no longer saw in the 80s. This is another example of what transpired, what happened to the community. They took the teachings of the church, the leadership of the church from the communities. The churches were, you know, for whatever reason, man, it became about, you know, becoming rich. No longer about the community, you know, again, that stuff happened. It was done intentionally. All of it. None of this shit is by accident, you know? And people begin to say, well, let me backtrack. The jobs. Like I said, man, we could have been poor dirt, but people worked. They had jobs, man. And before you knew it, so-and-so next door or across the street, the father lost his job. You know? It's no longer working. Couldn't even find a job that would pay the bills, take care of his family. You know, all that shit was orchestrated, man. Income welfare. Father had to be removed. You want to pay the bills, you know. All this shit is orchestrated, man. This shit, man, was done to us intentionally. And for the most part, you know, after it was done, we latched on to this shit. We you know, we chopped into the bit. And just rode with it, you know. That's what happened, man. And again, we get blamed for this situation, of these situations, you know. The government did a lot of this, and they done it intentionally. They destroyed the Black family intentionally, you know. They created integration intentionally to catch us up, you know. And that shit worked. It's been working. So, you know, I appreciate that piece because there's a lot of truth in it. You know, the whole thing is just about truth, you know. in terms of the experiences, or what took place as a result of the system working against the people, black people, man. That shit actually happened. I grew up in that era, in that time, saw it firsthand. So, yeah, ain't nothing but truth in what he said. Henry Cedello up in the house, y'all. He said, man, peace and blessings, everyone. Brother Bub, salute to you and your family right back to you, though, Henry, man. Peace and prosperity to you and the fam, bro. Good to see you up in here. Antonio, man, always, bro. Good to see you. Raymond Scott said, man, I think them seeing our people succeed, or I think them seeing our people's success with Tulsa and other black communities that were thriving at that time gave them a glimpse of who we would become. Destruction was the result. They sold us the idea of integration. And that's what stopped us cold in our tracks. It stopped us cold in our tracks. Again, man, it reminds me of what was that? The Montgomery bus boycott, right? Man, do you realize how successful that shit was? It crippled the fucking city, the municipality. It crippled them. But I'm like, after the success of that, y'all went right back to it. You didn't create from that your own get out. You went right back to a system that treated you unjustly. You participated in it. I don't understand that. But here we are today. We do the same shit. We're doing the same shit. We're harming ourselves, man, by involving ourselves or being a part of or participating in something that, again, is detrimental to us. I don't think that there are any advantages for us being connected to or a part of this system. I just don't. I don't. We've been, man, look, 1965, the Voting Rights Act passed. Here it is, 2026, man, and we're still talking about the injustices of the vote or the people having the vote. Come on, man. If that don't tell us something, I don't know what else would, man. When them bastards had us in slavery and we got out of that, and if that didn't tell us something, all right. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shit. I think it's crazy, man, that we are acting or we're part of a system, man, that again, it was not designed to include us. Facts, facts, man. Yeah, appreciate that, Raymond, man. They sold us the ideal of integration, man. Raymond go on to say, man, I believe our people bought into it, thinking it would help us get back to being great, but we were deceived, as we're being today. I think we're being deceived today, man. There's a lot going on again in the world, man. Well, but here in these United States, that should indicate to each and every one of us, man, that it means us no good. And again, we want to point at Trump. I think that's something that we getting mixed up, y'all. Trump is just a figurehead, man. Trump is just a figurehead, put into a position where he can make himself richer, but push the policies of those who run everything. Before Trump, there was Biden. Before Biden, there was Obama. Before Obama, there was Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan. Come on, man. Go on, man. It hasn't changed. None of this shit has changed. And we're being asked, man, to protest one, which will probably lead to violence too, for something that's not for us. And we ain't figured this shit out in decades, in over 60 years. I don't know, man. I tell y'all, man, something wrong with our thinking. Something's wrong with our thinking. You can't even get celebrities and or athletes, politicians to step out in mass, man, and say, no, man, this is wrong. Something's wrong with our thinking. You know? I think that those who won't come out in mass and protest, speak up, speak out against the system, they looking at it like, hey, man, I'm good. I'm good. I love my life. Then we got those of us on our level in the shit that they're in. They ain't trying to change nothing either. They ain't trying to change. They, hey, man, I'm good. I like this shit. You know, this the culture. Something's wrong with our thinking, man. You know, and shit. So I'm saying that to say, man, hey, man, come on, we can go and protest, march, do all that shit, get our heads beat in, you know, beat some heads in, you know, fight for a cause, you know, that again, man, that is really not for us or about us. And, you know, think, you know, man, listen, in 5 years, it's going to be the same shit. It won't change. You know, it won't change. We'll have our people continuing to sell us out. Our people continue to not want to unite, come together. You know, there's a lot of work to be done, man, just to change the minds first of the people. And it takes me back to what I said, man. That's where our real fight comes into play. We're gonna have to go to war with our own people, man, just to get them to see what this shit is, you know, what it really is. And lo and behold, man, the shit, man, can you imagine the resistance? It starts from the top down to the bottom, the resistance. Yeah, man. Let's get ready then. Let's get ready. You got a point though, there though, Raymond. Again, man, our success is a threat to them. But again, the way the system was designed, it wasn't meant for us to be successful in it. This is why we've seen what has transpired or what has happened to Black Wall Street, Tulsa, and other areas in this country where blacks excelled, where they were empowered, you know, doing their own thing. It wasn't in the script or the Constitution for us to do that. You know, our success under this system was not a part of that. That wasn't in the memo. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, this is why we see what we see. And you know, you got to know that in regards to that, you know how these white groups, they say we're going to go and start our own white communities. The government don't say jack, right? Think about that. And there's some recent shit. You know, they want to have their communities where white only. Blacks attempted to do the same thing. Guess what? No, you can't do that. Now, if that don't tell you the system's not for you, it's not for you to do what you, come on, man, what else does? What else will? It's not meant for us to do these things that they do, to have these privileges and rights that they have. It wasn't written like that or for that, for us. It just wasn't. And no matter how bad we want to change that, it's going to remain the same. It's just those facts, man. After over 60 years and shit is still the same, that should tell us it's not going to change. You know? But we could take this opportunity, I think, to create something for ourselves. And man, I don't think there's any doubt in any one of our minds that we will be damn good at it. We will be successful as hell, man. We'd make some shit happen. I mean, the shit would pop, man. It would be this shit. And guess what? They would want to know how we did it. Not only that, but then they'll want to destroy it. Because we outshining them. You know? And we're doing it on our own accord. We're doing it on our own time, our own platform, our own foundation. You know? We're doing it how we want to do it. Man, that would kill them off, man. That, come on, they shit, man. This shit is real, man. I don't know what to do in terms of getting the people to be on the same accord or to unify, unite. But one thing I do know, should that occur, shit, you know, shit, man. I can see it. Whole lot of work, but I can still envision it. I see it, man. That's the beauty of that, man. Us, man, it can't be nothing more powerful than that, than us, you know, building some shit, man, on top of this rubble, man. And the shit is strong, you know. Think about it. That would be the shit. That would be the shit. Sam Evans said, man, unfortunately, our people just don't get it. Serious deprogramming is necessary. Yeah, you know, you had RFK. He is the secretary of the Health and Human Services. A couple of weeks ago, suggest that our black children need to be confiscated from us, taken from us, and sent to wellness farms where they could be reparented. In other words, you know, indoctrinated, you know, brainwashed, reconditioned, or you know, he said that shit, you know, and got away with saying it. But let us suggest this of one another, and we're going to be called all kind of dumb MFs and ninjas and everything else. When the fact of the matter is, yeah, there needs to be a reprogramming, or you know, we need to relearn, man, everything, man, all over again, man. That would take time. That would take some serious time and effort. Serious time and effort. You know, again, we're in this situation, man. What are we gonna do? I do the other podcast, man, and you know, I'd sit down, I contemplate a lot of shit and be like, whoa, it's finna be some rough shit. It's finna be some rough shit. We got shit coming down the pipes at us. We don't even realize, man, that is coming, that is upon us. And again, we want to blame Trump. Trump is just a figurehead, man. These are not Trump's ideas. These are the ideas of the ultra rich, old money, you know, new corporate money, you know, the new oligarch, man, the people who run every damn thing, you know, they have a plan. Most of them, the majority of them, hate our guts. The majority of them see us as a threat. They see us as overturning their car. You know, if we were to wake up and get it together, they realize, man, without a doubt, that they lose everything. You know, it's crazy we don't understand this shit, man. We should understand every bit of this shit. Every bit of this shit. They got in DC, man. I don't know if y'all know this. Make America Safe Again, some shit they call it. They got them federal agents, FBI, DEA, ATF, federal marshals, Homeland Security, or ICE, where they patrol communities, black communities in Washington, D.C., the wards there. Maryland is next. New York, Chicago, LA, Oakland, Frisco. And it's something in effect, man. But I'll tell you, man, there's something else happening to our benefit. Well, it would be to our benefit if we just decided to get it together, man, work together. We'd be able to combat all this shit. You know, they are. See, this I know this shit ain't for us, man. They intentionally violate constitutional rights. Federal agents are doing this. Human rights. Federal agents are doing this on a daily. I just did something the other day on that. They, man, push up on a brother just walking down the street who happened to be a military veteran as well as attorney, accomplished attorney. They didn't care about none of that. Put him in handcuffs, wouldn't tell him why they stopped him or nothing. Searched all his shit without a warrant, took him to detention, you know, released him later, but you know, come on, man, the damage was already done. What does that tell us? You know, and that get down is coming to a city near you. Well, we ain't preparing for this shit. Another brother, they did same area in DC, locked him up for 7 days. Walking down the street, you know, y'all seen how they, you know, ICE was doing illegal immigrants, just pulling up on them, jumping out. They're doing that to brothers down in DC. And that, in fact, they just called it more 1,500 more National Guard motherfuckers, you know, for this process. But they did another brother like that. I forget his name off the bat, but boom, pushed up on him, jumped out for no reason. He happened to be strapped. He was headed to Trader Joe's to go grocery shopping, but he had his eat with him. You know, took his ass, man, to detention, took him to jail. 7 days later, a woke judge that just happened to be, you know, on the docket, kicked him out, said, man, you violated his constitutional rights. There was no reason for you to even harass him or stop him. Kicked him out. But this is what they're doing, man. And this shit is coming our way. What are we going to do? They got us thinking about voting rights and shit and all this other shit, man. And there's all this other shit going on. We stuck on stupid, man. We got to get it together, y'all. That's all I got to say to that. That's all I got to say to that, man. You know? We need to be re-educated, deprogrammed, so that we can start thinking for ourselves and doing for ourselves. Integration has made us dependent. The brother in the clip said that. They've made us dependent upon them. And I think that's what they want. See, because if we're dependent upon them, they don't have to worry about us being independent or going outside of this system, this thing that they got in place. They don't have to worry about us doing the most. You know? Yeah, we need to be reprogrammed. Henry said, man, Brother Bub, did you hear about the San Diego shooting at a mosque? Yep. Yep. You know, I didn't know how to call that one. I'm just trying to figure that one out. You know, because they had just busted a guy in New York, a Muslim, who was supposedly preparing to attack a synagogue. You know, they catch him before he does anything. You know what I mean? That's that. What they call, that's that minority report shit. That's that pre-crime shit. You know what I mean? Motherfucker ain't got to commit a crime nowadays, man. You just be looked at and it could be determined you're going to commit a crime. So therefore, we're going to arrest you before that happens. Yeah, I heard about the mosque shooting in Dago, man. Dude ended up dying himself. I think it's 3 dead, something to that effect. You know, but hey, man, this shit is crazy, man. And it's going down. It's happening. It's happening. You know, they got a whole lot of shit in effect, man, that a lot of us are not aware of. You know, that a lot of us are not aware of. There are things taking place in this country that we ain't even wiser to, man. And a lot of our people are down for it. They're with it. They are with the program. You know? So yeah, man, they sold us the idea of integration to have us in this position. To have left us in segregation or segregated, man, they wouldn't be able to fuck with us right now. Think about that. Because I trust that at some point, after establishing the communities, that they did, banks, hospitals, law firms, businesses, schools, you know, laws that pertain to them. A military was next. I think they put the cart before the horse. That should have been first, but I think that, man, hey, we're destined to do great things. And when that shit does occur, hey man, let's have a military first. That's all I got. That's all. That's my only request, man. Let's make sure we got protection. We got Usalamu, man. That they ain't gonna be able to come and just take some shit and lynch brothers and kill and burn, our people, man, indiscriminately or without repercussion or consequences. Shh. Let's be ready for that. That's what I say. Shit. Damn integration, man. And again, I'm gonna support the people, but the system, I'm against the system. I mean that shit. I hate this system. I fucking hate it. All right. Emmy said, Bub, okay, yeah, I heard about that Dago thing though, man. What I didn't get was who was the individual? What ethnicity was this individual, I'm not sure, but I did check it out. I didn't go all into it, caught the headline. I thought about it, I said, yeah, okay, it's starting. It's starting. And we have to know that a civil war is in the making. It's in the plans, I think, because, yeah, the way this shit's going, man, it's in the plans. B60 said, man, the author of Project 2025 studied Black history in college in order to know how to design the laws against us. Yeah, a lot of us didn't read 2025, Project 2025. And had we read it, we understand exactly what's happening right now. All that is going on right now is part of Project 25. Now couple that with the United States counterterrorism project, or plan. Hey man, they got some shit in there, man, that'll shock you. That you cannot be, for instance, hey man, if you anti-Israel, your ass can get locked up, or the shit can hit the fan. If you're anti-fascism or an anti-fascist, your ass is in trouble. If you're the extreme left, you support Palestine or Black Lives Matter or any black issue that would speak to injustices, and you're willing to protest, and your ass is in trouble. Again, Minority Report. They're looking at all this as pre-crimes. What you believe in, what you support, what you think could get you locked up before you do anything. And this shit is in full effect, man. And we stuck on a whole lot of BS. And I can't help but get back to thinking about these politics and our folks, man, and how they tripping about this vote thing. And again, one thing we have to accept is that what the Supreme Court passed down is already etched in stone. There's really actually very little you could do to revert or change that. It could be done, but man, they said that would take time. How much time? You know what I mean? So it'll be in effect for a while, before any change, if change at all, comes to that, that issue. Hey, man, this shit is real. It's real, What's happening is some serious shit. But yeah, man, B60 said, man, the author of Project 2025 studied Black history in college in order to know how to design the laws against us. That's what they do. They have think tanks for that, Fabric said, man, YT people are outside of equality. excuse me, because they don't possess it naturally, and you can only study it to become second nature. Justice is not in them. Tell the truth, man. We haven't learned the lesson they came to teach us. So being, damn, you, what the rest of it, bro? All right, anyway, YT people are outside of equality because they don't possess it naturally. All right, and can only study it to become second, or for it to become second nature. Justice is not in them. We haven't learned the lesson they came to teach us. So being, damn, man, I hate when that happens, man. I be wanting to hear the whole thing, especially when it's good. Okay, Sam Evans said, man, the fact that black people is still breathing is a threat. Bottom line. Bottom line. And again, they really don't want us here. And I'm going to tell you why, because we're not willing to work for free anymore. So what's the use of having us here? That's the mindset, I think. That's the mindset of them, I think. For real. If we're not performing some task that benefits them, they're thinking, why are they here? You know, we'll keep the athletes. They'll continue to entertain us. We'll keep the celebrities. They'll continue to entertain us. And we'll keep the so-called, gatekeepers of Boule, because they'll keep the athletes and the entertainers in line. But the rest of them, why they here? They won't go work the fields for us. Our crops are rotten, rotting, what I mean? Come on. We need somebody to harvest these crops and they won't do it. So why are they here? That alligator Alcatraz, right? They didn't build that for nothing, man. And the others that we don't know about. Private prisons are springing up everywhere, y'all. They're springing up everywhere. Hey, man, there's a method to this madness we see taking place, y'all. There's a reason for it. Put it like that. And we better get it together, get ready, because the get out is happening. It's happening in real time. It's happening right before our eyes. A lot of us ain't catching it, though. A lot of us ain't catching it. Appreciate you for saying that, Sam Evans. Henry said, man, I hate the system too, brother Bub. James say, hey, man, what up, Bub? CPT1, what it do, beloved one? I see here, peace and prosperity, man. You're late, man, but hey, as we say, man, better late than never. All right? That's a good look. Hey, man, everything is everything on this end, man. Like I said, peace and prosperity to you and the fam, man, and to the CPT, to Compton as well as Bompton. Hey, man, brothers, let's get the damn thing done, man. James say, man, how you doing, man? How you doing, loved one? Straight stumping for my blackness, and I wouldn't give a mad fuck. Black fists up high to all my brothers and sisters out there, from the South Central all the way to the one. Chris say, man, for the most part, most of the black doctors and lawyers are married to white people. Damn, man, you crazy for saying that? Well, not crazy, but so yeah, today I'm sitting in, I'm in the studio. Shit crazy, man. I'm in the studio and in my feed, because like I said, I go and I bypass the bullshit. I go to shit that I think is relevant to us. I go to one man and they got these brothers standing with these white women. They're athletes. They're entertainers, things of that nature. All of them got white women. Now, we hear our people starting to say more and more these days, hey, man, you love who you love, And I wouldn't contest that, because there may be some validity to that, But here's the thing. They marry him, have a kid or two. There seems to be a pattern. Marry him, have a kid or two, then guess what? They take off, man, and take the money and the kid. So now they took not just your money, but they taking your child, your seed, quite possibly, you know, our Messiah, you know, our future, to her people to be raised now. Now he's separated, you know, from not just his culture, man, but his family. You know, the matriarchs in the family, the patriarchs in the family, you know, the cousins, the uncles, the aunties, you know, he's removed from blackness. We see this shit all the time. There is a pattern, man. For real, for real. This is what is going on. And I don't know, man, you see these brothers, man, and they be goofy as hell about this shit. What's that young brother, man? Got took in the draft football. You know, I don't want to describe him like that, but married the girl who was a fans only, a only fan type female, a stripper. You know, she looked to be Latina or even white. I'm not sure which one. The dude's name is on the tip of my Travis. I forget his name. Like, man, this dude, like, he ain't got a lick of select, man. I'm saying, man, golly, bro, you goofy, bro. But he's not the only one. A lot of them are like that. You know, it's like, you know, the vagina is lined with gold or something. I don't know. They don't put no protection on the finances. You know, they go into a situation, man. Hey, man, I ain't worry about it. Then boom. It could be a year. In that time, they'll produce a baby, man. And when that happens, they'll take the money and the child. And now these dudes, you know, they so upset about it, they don't want to hear we told you, man, you know. So now they, you know, they more against blackness than before, you know. Yeah. Oh man, this shit is crazy, man. The shit I've seen, the shit I've heard. Travis Hunter, thank you, appreciate that. B60, like, dude. I want to say some shit, but I don't. You know, I'm trying to be disrespectful and shit. But there's something about us as a people, black men and women. Certain things are said to us about us, and we tend to believe that shit, you know. And as a result, man, we latch on to whatever we get because we already think we're not good enough, handsome enough, fine enough, beautiful enough, you know. So, you know, and so that's the way they go. Now I'm thinking about Serena Williams. You know, the billionaire boy told her she was too dark. She started bleaching. Like, for real, man. Something wrong, man, with our people. Something wrong with our people. Anyway, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my God. That's what the thought was, man. But anyway. James said, my internet is messed up. So I felt like my message ain't sending. You know, it's always something, bro. Been busy, my brother, but I'm here when I can be. And we appreciate that, bro. Again, man. We always want to prioritize. Let's just keep that in mind, man. We always want to prioritize, you know. We need to do more of that. You know, you doing that, that's not a knock against you, bro. You know, get it done. Chris said, man, that's a fact, man. When you take away the smartest and brightest and money from out the black community, what do you have left? Only the zombies. And yeah, that's another thing, man. The celebrities, they take it from the community. They bring it goes to them little black hat people's communities. It goes to the white tea people's communities. It goes everywhere but the community, you know, all that shit, you know. And again, you know, a lot of us say, man, that's they shit. You know, why you tripping about they shit? Yeah, I get that part, right? But then when you look at who they donate money to, what they sponsor, come on, man. Come on, man. I think then it's part of your nature is to have something to say about that shit, or it should, These people are grown, man, from jump. They sick these people on them. They'll tell them in a minute, hey man, don't go back over there, Oh, you don't want to be with her. I got somebody I want you to meet. Find one. Just your type, All kind of shit, man, takes place. All kind of shit, man. A lot of these NBA stars, man, white girls, football players, baseball players. Probably the only ones that stick to their own, man, is like track and field type people. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. James said, man, much love to you, brother Henry Cedello, man. Appreciate your love. One shouts out to the Strong Beach, the 5-6 Deuce. Okay. All right. Happy Tuesday, my brother. All right. Let me give you that, man, them prayer hands, man. B6 said, man, they run a playbook on how to get these athletes before they get rich. I saw some of damn, and it's great. I saw something yesterday where there is a tutelage, a white lady. She's giving courses on how to catch a black athlete and marry him. The do's and don'ts. I bullshit you not. Then today, I saw one where sister was doing it. I'm like, damn, man. Yeah, there's a playbook on it. James said, man, in regards to the brothers and sisters, it's time for red, blue, and all color rags in between to intertwine. Come on, y'all. The C, the H, the P, the B, and the G needs to be one people under the groove. Black first. You just need to be one people. Appreciate that shout out though, bro. But yeah, one people. We need to get it together, man. Ain't a whole lot of time. I say again, man, that the opportunity is now. All we have to do is just really focus on the focus. If necessary, for those who are capable, use that third eye, man, and see what's really happening. We're at a time where I think, man, we can do. I won't even call it miraculous, because I think we're more than capable of just, doing some shit that would be phenomenal to them more than it would be to us. But we're at a time, place, and space. We can fucking change the fucking world, man. And damn be to anybody who don't like it. Only way that's gonna happen though is if we unify, man. Our differences, man, put them to the side, man, and we got to support one another, especially when it's righteous. I'm gonna tell you, I'll be the first one to be like, hey man, that's some bullshit, bro. I ran into a brother. I was at the studio this about a month ago, and I come down to the parking garage, get my truck and leave. As soon as I get off the elevator, I see a situation, a brother and his sister, they, about, 3 Mahindas surrounding them, So immediately I'm, all right, So what's happening, bro? Oh man, this motherfucker sweating me about paying the parking fee, on the ground. And immediately my mind was like, yeah, man, I'm ready to go in there to the brother, man, and you're in the wrong. So I say, bro, you owe him. They owe him. I told him I'm giving the money. So I talk him. No, he turned up. He got a phone in his hand, weighing the phone. And I see the Mahinda try to grab the phone. And he snatched it back and he said, man, give me my phone. I'm like, bro, check this out, man. I don't know you, homie, but, some shit go down. I'm in this shit, But right is right, bro. One, you took his phone. That's battery. If they want to call the police, I'm telling him this shit, right? Give me shit, man. I said, I don't give a fuck whether or not you paying, but don't make this shit into something it ain't got to be, you know? Say, man, I'm a pain, bro. You know, that's on whoop the whoop whoop, cuz, or, you know, something like that. That's, yeah, all right. You know, I feel you, but what you gonna do, man? 'Cause I need to know. I'm going about my business, man. Because, you know, in my mind already, you on some shit you ain't supposed to be on, tell you the truth. And if you ain't got the money to pay the man, just, hey, man, I got a studio in here. When I get the man, I'll take care of you. You know? That ain't how he dealt with it, you know? So give him his phone back. Dude start trying to call 911. So I'm like, all right. So I'm still standing there. I ain't tripping. Because, you know, it's a few of them and I ain't leaving, you know? Then they got a baby in the car in the back seat. And I'm like, bro, you know. Say, oh yeah, man, I hear you, OG, I hear you. So he get his car, man. Now the parking guy that run the parking structure got his SUV parked in front of their car, so they can't leave. So now you know he's doing what he's doing, you know, trying to make, you know, basically hitting the other, you know. So you know, at this point, I say, all right, I'm tired of talking, but I ain't going nowhere. And so the dude, he don't want no damage to his shit, so he move his shit. You know, bro saying, yeah, motherfucker, told you motherfucker I'm gonna pay you on. And he peel out, boom, you know. I get my truck, man, I leave, but I'm thinking about shit the whole time. See, man, this is the problem, man. You know, because you got brothers and sisters who gonna support brothers and sisters. And I think that some of the time, man, we go to support our people, man, they in the wrong. Now you got us in this situation, man, where it can all go bad and we lose soldiers and warriors and shit, you know, be righteous motherfuckers, man, you know, to some bullshit that our people created, you know. It's crazy, man. So I say, you know, I'm down. If it's righteous, man, I ain't gonna question it. You know what I mean? Because I'm questioning it. But once oh yeah, yeah, man, you ready? I'm ready. You know. But that was some shit, man. You know, and I imagine this type of shit happen all the time. You know, I imagine that's a possibility that this happens all the time. Brothers may create shit, man, unnecessarily. It's the mindset. So going back to what I think Chris said, man, we got to deprogram motherfuckers and get them right. Hey, man, only go after those causes, man. Only get in that warrior mode, man, when you fucking know, hey, man, ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about this. It ain't because I owed you $10 or $20 for parking. You know, I don't want to pay it or I ain't got it to pay, you know. And instead of being a man, you know, well, instead of handling like a man, you went about it wrong and you get other people involved. We got to be mindful of this type of shit, man. It takes place. It happens all the time. But yeah, man, you know, to the people, man, we got to come together and we got to support these causes that are righteous. We got to give them that support, man. We got to back the people up. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Farrah say, man, remember that Malcolm X saying about 2 types of ninjas, bub. Yeah. I don't know why I still got that in my playlist, man. I play that, man. I could be driving, I play that shit. But he say, yeah, you have the field slaves who wanted to capsize the plantation, man, put a hole in the hole, watch it sink, right? Or burn it down. Then you got the house ones, you know, said, okay, what's better than what we got here, man? Psychosis. Let me read that again. Remember Malcolm X saying about 2 types of ninjas, bub. Field slaves, they wanted to capsize the plantation. Then you got the HNs, huh? And said, what's better than what we got here? Psychosis. You know, hey man, this is everything. I ain't going nowhere. You ninjas out there crazy. Matter of fact, get out of here. You ain't coming here. They want gatekeep. They want a door key. You know, you ain't coming here. You know, actually, don't realize they're doing, you know, our brothers out in the field a favor. You know, tell you the truth. But yeah, It's psychosis, man. This is the way their minds are functioning and works. You can't tell them to, hey man, stand up for what's right. Let's be righteous. Let's unite. Man, you crazy. And they've said, man, with conviction, and put your hands on me. I'm call police. That's some cold psychosis, man. They not trying to say, no, man, you can't show me there's something better than this. And especially if I got to work for it all over again, all the buck dancing and stepping, fetching I done to get this, and you tell me I got no, man. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem, bro. Chris said, man, they've been brainwashed. They have a white man's heart now. Facts. Most athletes, if not all, are whack. Sold out and bought and sold, man. Real shit. They go on the auction block time of the draft, man, all the time. That ain't nothing but a modern day auction block. That's some cold shit, but it is. Those are the ones being bought and sold in your face. And they get up there skinning and grinning, wearing the master's colors insignia. You know, like I made it for the big house. Yeah. Yeah, man. Henry Cedello says, and the black celebrities have the money to come together and build a town. Rappers, Waka Flocka and Boosie bought some nice land. At least they did something with their cash. With their cash rules, okay? Yeah, man. And imagine, though, more have been like that or is like that. And they actually, put that shit to work, man, for real, I think I read about one of them buying all that land and creating this whole community, building it for his family. Man, that's nice. That's a good look, It's a good look. All right, James, man. James said, I grew up, man, to realize dudes like Michael Jordan is not for me. I've been knowing dudes like him are messed up from the very beginning. Same with clowns like Duffy Doodle. Puffy Doodle, excuse me. I knew he was foul in the 90s. You going to say, I grew up to realize dudes like Mike. Okay, I just read that. Okay. Yeah, sorry if my shit be sending double messages. I got internet issues right now, man. Say less, bro. Say less. Fat Rat said, man, shout out to Amin Abdullah, the black Muslim brother security who lost his life, saving nearly 200 children who were the target of the attackers. And you're talking about the San Diego mosque attack, right? There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go do something on that one. That'll be up and running by tomorrow morning. Amin Abdullah. All right. Man. Protecting the children, man. I mean, you're gonna go. Ain't that the way to go? Protecting the family or the children, not somebody's street or some white person's or some person's business. Ain't got nothing to do with you and your family. Chris said at the same time, man, it's hard to turn down $1 million. Yeah. I think again, man, it's all about our thought processes. And don't get me wrong, man. Yeah, $1 million, goddamn. You know what I can do with that, right? Look at it like this, though. What are you doing for the million? Well, what is applied, or what do you apply to accepting the million? Are there any principles and morals, or are there integrity? You know what I mean? What are you doing for the meal? You going to say, man, if a white man gave you $1 million to take care of his house, would you do it? What the fuck you mean take his house? Like take his house like you go on a vacation or something? And I go and feed the dog or the cat? Pick up his mail? What the fuck you talking about? Take care of his house, what? Clean his house, cut his grass, clean his pool? What? Am I now a butler? You calling me a butler? Yeah. Nah, man, ain't gonna happen, homie. Ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna be real with you. Ain't gonna happen. Nah. Ain't gonna happen. Cause see, then I'm like them, you know. Hey, I'm bought and paid for, you know. I'm doing for him what the fuck he could do for himself, you know what I mean? But it's about, I think his prestige. He can tell his friends, yeah, I got me one, they come and clean my house. He takes care of my house. Nah, it won't be me, bro. Fat Rat said, man, he's immortalized, bub. The martyr is settled on the highest sacrifice. Yeah, man. Salute to that brother, man. Condolences to him, to his family, I'm gonna do something on that, man. That'll be up and running tomorrow for sure, for sure. Mm. Chris say all the above. Yeah, man, I won't have that meal ticket, bro. Nah. I didn't live my life. I'm to the point now that I don't only understand, but I accept, man, who I am, man, and I'm pretty sure I'll continue to struggle before I'll be somebody's goddamn flunky or butler. I promise you that, man. Man, you see, I wouldn't be able to trust myself. Cause now he probably end up missing, man. Just for the insult. The more I clean around that bastard's place, the more upset I'll become and be like, hey, man, man, I done fucked up and you got to pay. Nah, real spit, bro. It wouldn't happen. Not with me. Not with me. I mean that shit. Ain't gonna happen. Henry say, man, absolutely ain't gonna happen. Chris say, man, I don't believe you. You gonna turn down a meal? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it ain't, see, that's the thing that I try to impart to a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, man. We're in a society, and I hate the society for this, but I know that I'm a part of it in a lot of ways. I participate in because I have family, who not seeing what I see doing. They do, but we got family, man. But I'm saying that to say this, man. There's no way, man, that I would, you know, um, basically sell my soul, give up my dignity, you know, to do something like that. That's not for me. I don't think I was created or I exist to do that type of shit. It's bad enough that I would go work for Gilmore at his job, at his business, Don't like that. Don't like it, In fact, there's more to that story than meets the eye. But hey, never been a fan. That I think is more personal, Nah, man, I would not be the one to be anybody's butler, you know, anybody's slave, house ninja, none of that. Believe it or not, it doesn't matter, but I go without. I won't have that meal. I'd rather jack him for it, man. Fuck it. you know, Straight up. I jack him for it first. Yeah. I don't doubt some would. I won't. Rakufu said, man, English translation. Never. Why you do this, man? Okay, never. Neighbor neighbor de jure. Okay, Lord of all, great God, grant that I may shine in my eye. I saw recently where they said the word Lord was instilled, and it wasn't never really the word Lord. And I don't know. The gist of it was that Lord was some new shit that they put in, that they started to use the Lord, the word Lord, as referencing God and all that stuff was never something that was done back in, back in the day, antiquity. I don't know how true that is, but I just saw that today. And it's funny that they said that it's funny how Europeans use the word when you go back to medieval times, they use the word Lord, in their castles and shit, their chambermaids, their servants use the word Lord, when addressing, that individual who ran, everything, I'm just bringing that up because I see the word Lord. Oh, Adam, primeval one of the two lands. Oh, Atum, primeval one of the two lands, you who brought all forms into being, O Shu, breathe into me the air of life. Farad say, man, his children spoke on his nobility today on Fox Live. That coverage is out there. I'm gonna go check that out, bro. Real spit, man. Real spit. O Tafnu, grant me the waters of healing and wholeness. O Gabe, establish my feet firmly upon the earth. O Newt, raise my soul amongst the imperishable stars. Oh shit, y'all. It's almost time to go. Osiris, grant me eternal life. O Isis, protect my heart with your sacred magic. O Set, drive away chaos every day. Okay. O Nephthys, strengthen my heart with your divine protection. O Horus, grant that I may appear in truth and righteousness. O Thoth, inscribe the words of Maya upon my heart. Farad say, man, Ra, that's the primeval new none and netter new. Oh, and Pooh, opener of the ways, open my path to the Duat and hear my voice in peace. Sacred closing formula, Medu Netter. Okay, life, prosperity, and health in my eye for eternity. All right. On the set, man, I was just saying we could just take it, bub. Hey, Farrah, you already know. And that might be, I don't know, and respectfully, it might be hard for some to even accept that or, believe that. I'd be like, Crack, I wish you would, because, hey, man, nah, homie, I'm going to take that. You're going to get jacked. You're going to get jacked. Because like I said already, that's some, you're trying to disgrace me, man. That ain't going to happen. You got to pay for that. That's that disgrace, that you trying to strip me of my dignity is going to cost you $1 million. You know what I mean? It's going to cost you a meal ticket, But yeah, man. All right. Rakufu said, man, this is a translation into English. That's why Lord is used, but Neb is the comedic version. All right, bro. All right. I appreciate you, Rakufu, man, lacing us with that, man. And I have to get more acclimated, accustomed to pronounce and being able to pronunciate these words correctly, bro. And so that's my bad, and I appreciate you nonetheless, bro. All right, y'all. On that note, it's time, man. Oh shit, it's time. It's overdue. Fat Rat, I'm gonna go and check this out, man, and pay homage to this brother, man. But in the meantime and in between time, everybody take care of yourselves, man. So that we can do that, man, for each other. We can take care of each other. Love yourselves, man. That love, man, is key. Love for self is key. So let's get that in, man. Let's be all that we can be, man, in love for ourselves so that we can be that for everybody else, man. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you. Know that power is in the people. And I think that our power is about to be exercised. We're about to flex our talents. I see it coming, you know. It's going to be a fight nonetheless, and yet we're going to be able to flex our talents, you know. We're going to exercise this power. I'm quite sure of it. I see it. And my soul says it, you know. I feel that shit, you know. So let's prepare. Until next time. Take care of yourselves, man, and each other, you know. May the rest of your day be everything you want it to be. Sleep well. You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people, y'all. One love.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurst, and writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transformed suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant is once a less than actors, actors, and mistakes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive plot to the applause for polls. Need your data, tropes, and constant problem when the wet just wanna build the season bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times. Plead the markets off the main. Make it on the fans. Turn the neck and love the dirt. Suffer sacrifice. You went from the preaching up on side is each alone, bitch on the shit and untruth and vet someone that buried in some Gary land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the banner feel. You wait something for the marker, make the key to pull the trumpets on the boards to the singer land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother, break your channel, resi for the he and let the peasant be. It's every time we keep a spawn.